Welcome to the second video of questions and answers, where I try to answer your questions about the current Israel-Iran war that's taking place. Jill has written on the post that I posted on my YouTube channel asking you to put your questions. It's the first one saying, "Thank you, Potkin. We're all watching Mahyar, as know that you are too. Hope you're happy with the way it is going." Well, that's not really a question, so I ignore that one. The next one is, do you think the Iranians will succeed this time in getting their country back? I think this is the closest that they've ever been, but it can still go either way. The thing about war is that it's just very unpredictable. Anything can happen. You can have one missile going the wrong way or one missile hitting the right target, and things could change. So this is the closest that Iranians have ever been. This is the weakest the regime has ever been. The RGC has virtually been decapitated within the first day of the war. Jeff is asking, what are the regime's instructions to the population? Well, the regime is desperately trying to make this into some sort of patriotic war and try to appeal to all Iranians, whether they support the regime or not. So you see the state TV at organised rallies going up to girls that are not observing hijab, which would, under normal circumstances, would never be seen on Iranian state TV. But on this occasion, they're willing to ignore and even speak to them and try to pretend that even the people who oppose the regime, because this is a question of saving the country, they should all get together and rally behind the regime. But it's exactly the same sort of thing they did during the Iran-Iraq war. But I think this time they're not going to be as successful, because people after 45 years in Iran, people in Iran after 45 years, they've seen through what the regime is about, and they just want to see the back of it. And I don't think they're going to fall for that again. Is the population getting information from outside sources? Yes, they are, and this is in fact one of the differences with the Iran-Iraq war, because during that time, which happened in the early 80s, between 1980 and 1988, there was no satellite stations, there was no internet, there was no Starlink. There are problems with the internet connections. It goes off every now and again, or it slows down, but people are getting their information from outside Iran, and not just from state media. So that's one of the crucial differences. Is there a way to know the current sentiment among Iranians in the cities versus the provinces? Well, that's a hard question to answer, because unless we have some sort of a national referendum, I mean, what is the most objective way of assessing that? But look, my own sentiment, talking to people in Iran, which are not just in the cities, they're in the provinces as well, is that, look, the vast majority of Iranians want to see the back of the regime. My own estimate is that there's only about 5% of the population who are supporting the regime, and most of that 5% are on payroll. So if the paychecks stop, they will change as well, and they will even lose support amongst them. Very few people that are ideologically are still convinced that this is a divine regime that they should support and they should make sacrifices for. There's another question. We know that there are Christians in Iran, and I'm sure also a few Muslims as well, who do not agree with the IGC. Don't assume because if someone is a Muslim in Iran, they don't oppose the regime. The vast majority of people in Iran are Muslim by birth, even if they're not practicing, and the vast majority of them, even if they do practice, they're against the regime. So it's not just the Christians or non-Muslims. What changes can we expect with the downfall of the Iranian government? Well, a lot. Islamic extremism in the late 20th century came about when the Islamic Revolution in Iran happened in 1979. If the Ayatollah regime in Iran is toppled, it will stop the financial and weapon sources of a lot of the extremism around the world. And when people actually see what was going on in Iran and the level of corruption and all the wrong malaise that was going on because of an Islamic regime, they will change their mind too. So it'll be a reversal of the Islamic extremism that the Islamic Revolution in 1979 started in Iran. Just like the fall of communism in the Soviet Union, there may have been a lot of communists around the globe who thought that Soviet Union was the ideal society, that the Eastern European satellite countries were the perfect society. And when it collapsed and people saw what was really going on in there, the communism as an ideology collapsed too. And I think it'd be the same thing if the Ayatollahs are overthrown in Iran. So we'll have to see. That was all of your questions for now, but keep your questions coming, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Thanks for watching.